how God came through for me on this day,
My birthday is
2023.
on Sunday, and I can't stop reflecting how God saved me on this day, July 21st, 2023. Please don't scroll. This is a huge testimony. So on 21st July 2023, I woke up around half past 1 a.m. midnight with an intense pain, and I could remember vividly a week before that day I had similar pain, but it wasn't as intense as it was on that day. The similar pain I had subsided, right? And of course I went about my life, went about my activities. So on July 21st, I was just having that pain, and the pain woke my sound, the discomfort woke my husband up, and I couldn't poop. I couldn't do anything. It was as if my whole intestine, everything inside my stomach was just tightening. Like at the same time, I was feeling this pain. My husband, as at that point in time, my first baby was just 6 months old. So my husband picked me up, took me to the hospital, rushed me to the hospital at Evercare. We got to the emergency ward. I was attended to, gave me pain relief, ran some tests, drew my blood, right? Did some blood work anyway, ran some tests. It was there the doctor announced that, was asking some questions with, when was the last time you saw your menses and all. I wasn't seeing my menses. So even after giving birth, I was like, oh, the doctor was like, oh, madam, you're pregnant. I was like, but why am I feeling this pain? I went for pelvic scan, everything was fine. And one thing with pregnancy, if it isn't up to like 8 weeks, right, they will tell you, I think you can't see the gestational sac unless you run a transvaginal scan, right? So I'm like, the pelvic scan was okay. I was discharged from the emergency ward. After some time, I still started feeling the pain. At that point in time, we were still in communication with the gynecologist that delivered my baby, right? Dr. Jude Nnorom at Evercare. So Dr. Jude was like, I should just come in. I came in. He had to refer me to run a transvaginal scan. They did. In fact, the sonographer there had to call the head of, like his head, right? They had to join heads together. I don't know what they did, but at the end of the day, our best bet at that point, as advised by Dr. Jude, was to run a laparoscopy. I haven't heard of laparoscopy before. I was like, what is laparoscopy? What are these people saying? From what my husband explained, they were like, okay, they will need to check, since they weren't sure what is happening at that point in time. They will need to check, right? If they check, if it is something they will need to close up, they'll close up rather than opening me straight, right? Then when they check, if it is something they can address, they address. And this laparoscopy, right, they had to administer a general anesthesia to me. General anesthesia in the sense that I should be sleeping when the surgery is going on, or the procedure is going on, right? And the way it happened, right, I was administered the anesthesia. The anesthetist there was like, okay, I should start counting. I didn't know when I fell asleep. When we woke up, right, what they told us was that we, what they told us was that we okay, the lead surgeon came to explain that it was an ovarian ectopic pregnancy, and that it is rare, that what people usually come down with is fallopian ectopic pregnancy, right? And at that point in time, I couldn't stop but thank God for the team, for my husband, for the way he took me to the hospital, and how the team at Evercare came with their best, and how I was saved. Because at that point in time, from the pelvic scan, I think they said something about an internal bleeding. So I was bleeding internally, and I did not know. I was just, how we'll have pain and we'll say, okay, let's just continue with it. Let's just know what the pain is going to subside, and you go about your life. God came through for me at that point in time. So even now that I'm even saying, oh God, I am job hunting, I can't stop but reflecting how God, the number of times God came through for me. And even at that point in time, I was a rookie. I was an intern, right? An engineering trainee with one of Africa's most leading fintechs, Flutterwave. And we had just concluded our second round of performance evaluation. And I was hoping to get a full-time employment with Flutterwave. And I was just scared that, imagine going through this procedure and I will need some time off to recover, what would it look like? Would they not see me as someone that, I just came in, you went on maternity leave, now you're going for this, now you're going for that? Oh no. My colleagues were understanding at that point in time. Everything just happened and God saved me. Do you know that even after the whole advice, doctors were like, okay, 4 to 6 weeks, or four to 6 weeks, you need to abstain from sex so you heal properly. And yes, do you know, after that period, within 5 to 7 weeks, right, I took in for my son. And during the recovery process, some of my friends came to visit me and they were like, "Oh, you need to be careful." I was like, "Yes, I'm going to be careful." And this just makes me feel God has a reason for everything. One has to be very careful.